isn't black and white. It's layered, lived, and deeply personal. So, how do you know you're living in your truth? Welcome back to Unzipped Lips. Again, I am your hostess, Mary Freshwater, and I'm providing a space where we unzip the truth and we speak the unpopular things that possibly should have never been said out loud, but we're saying them anyway. Truth is no different on that, especially on the cusp of last week's talk of perspective versus reality. How do you know you're living in your truth? That is one of the biggest questions I have for you. Is what is your truth? Do you know your truth? I mean, it usually comes upon your experiences, perception, and your personal values. But have you dug into them? I mean, it starts with self honesty. And let's be honest, that's a prerequisite to growth. You can't build yourself while still lying to yourself. And, you know, what truth about yourself that you've been avoiding because it scares you, that is usually the truth that is going to force you to change. Truth is a disruptor. It shakes up what's familiar. You know, we spend a lot of time lying to ourselves because it keeps us comfortable. But healing doesn't happen in a comfort zone. It happens when we challenge our perception, we challenge what we call our reality, and we find the truth in it all. And that is not an easy feat. To challenge your perspective and find the truth, to find yourself back to reality, that is not an easy thing to do. I mean, I will say it was a challenge, to say the least. But it's actually one of the coolest things that when you can come to your full living truth of your experiences, your beliefs, your values, and you can look at things with a complete, honest view of yourself, it is so amazing. Because when you are speak the truth of yourself, you are living in a place where it's hard for others to wound you. It's hard to get offended. It's hard for anyone to come at you because you're already living in your truth. When someone comes and says that I'm too much, it actually at this point makes me laugh because, duh, I am a bit much for some people. And I'm 100% okay with that. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but everyone's not also my cup of tea. That is the reality that all of us should be living in. It's a truth, and that's okay. So when we get to a point where we can sit in truth about ourselves and really know ourselves and have full self-awareness, it is so much harder for others to come at you. And you can sit in a space of comfort in a way that most people are comfortable. And that's okay. You know, your truth is developed upon your perspective, memories, emotional content. And, you know, when you unbury your skeletons in your closet, you know them, you really feel them, and you're sitting in that place of truth. Everything else seems so much easier to handle. But here's the thing. Truth is so subjective. It isn't one size fits all. My truth and your truth are going to be so different because my trauma in my life, my upbringing is completely different than yours. And that's okay because it's actually quite dangerous to assume that our truths are going to be the same. I mean, no two people walk away from the same thing saying the same story. So, how would our truths ever be the same? You know, I don't get why people seem to think that we're going to feel the same thing about the same thing. We're going to think differently, and that is okay. But I guess that's a great question. How do we handle when others have a different truth than our own? Because we all come from a different story, different background. We have different perspectives of the world. Our realities aren't the same. So, how do we handle that? And honestly, it comes down to one thing. So, let me let you in on the secret. Comes down to, I don't know, respect. Something that our society seems to has completely lost is what we call mutual respect. That is all it comes down to. To be able to sit and have a conversation with each other, challenge each other. We just have to have respect for each other. Have active listening where we actually are sitting there and learning from one another. Because I'm not here to tell you you're wrong and you need to think the way I think, and your truth needs to be my truth, and this is how the world runs. That is not reality. That is a fact. That is not a reality. It's okay. It's okay for us to think differently. It's okay for us to bring different perspectives to a table. And you know what? At the end of the day, it helps us grow if we challenge each other with respect. We can listen to each other's truths. We can openly share, and we can challenge each other with love. That is something that is so missing from our society, and it is so disgusting that it is missing, because I love hearing stories from other people. I love hearing their truths, and I love them to challenge my truth and challenge my perspective and challenge me, because that helps me grow. But it all needs to be done in respect. You can't respect someone without love, and you can't love someone without respect. And why that is missing in today's society is so mind-boggling, because that is how we grow. That's how our truth gets concreted in reality. And that is how our society should still be running, but we have missed the mark horrifically. So today, we can't even sit at a same table and have two different truths without going at each other's throats. What happened? Why are we missing the mark? Why is it just you thinking differently than me triggers me so badly? No, it doesn't trigger you. It's provoking an ego and a thought process, because you can't handle hearing someone else's truth and perspective is different than yours. And I'm sure someone's going to hate me for this one. I just realized that as it came out of my mouth. And honestly, you know what? Screw it. Let's talk about that. Let's really, really talk about that. My truth is different than yours, and that is okay. Can we have respect on that? If we can't, don't come to my dinner table. Because I'm sorry, I love hearing people's stories. I do. And I want to learn from you. But I will not be disrespected, and I will not be shown unloved challenges. That's my boundary. That's it. I only have one boundary: respect and love. Well, they go hand in hand in my world. You can come to my dinner table. You can have a difference of opinion. You can be whoever you want to be. And I am 100% okay with that, because I will respect you. I respect your thoughts. I respect your opinions. I will respect you until the ends of the earth, as long as you can show it in return. And that is one thing that we need to bring back, is when you have your truth and you have grown into your truth and you know that it is a healthy truth, not a la la fairy tale cray cray truth. We all know who those are, but that's okay. Uh, I mean, I really don't feel like having a narcissist at my table anytime soon. So let's talk about those. So let's talk about respect. Because when you can respect a person's truth and you can respect someone's past and their story, and you can have a place of comfort in just an exchange of truth, it becomes such a beautiful thing because that's where growth will happen. You are naturally challenged. You are naturally shown different perspectives, different ways to understand things. You may not agree with them, and that is okay. And that is where one of my favorite lines come in. You do not need to understand this, but I'm asking you to respect. I mean, that is one of the most strongest lines I have taught many people, and I will continue to teach people that you do not need to understand or agree with someone, but you can still respect it and honor it. And it's big time when you're talking with elders because they are in a different generation. And I mean, I'm technically an elder millennial, and my perspective is very different than most. I mean, I feel like I relate more to Gen X. And I'm pretty sure Gen X is going to get mad at me for that. But I had a childhood of a Gen X all the way through high school. So please forgive me. But I'm an elder millennial who's on the cusp. So I'm older than I look. Thank you. But I'm back on topic. My truth is going to be different than everyone else's. And I'm okay with that. You should be okay with that too. In those uncomfortable conversations, help challenge and grow you. Why do we run from them? I mean, just because your truth is different doesn't mean I can't learn from you. And I mean, if I need my ego stroked into validation so badly, I'm pretty sure I can find that somewhere. But personally, growth means more to me than both of those. And honestly, when I am challenged in ways where my facts and my reality are challenged, I mean, shit. That gets me thinking, am I living in reality? Is this my truth? Is this what I want to believe in? Does this actually make sense? It's okay to have those questions arise when your truth is challenged because your truth is subjective reality. It's actually, yeah, because not many of us can actually emotionally detach enough from reality in perception that we're able to see facts as facts and have no emotional attachment. That is one of the hardest things to do, is to have no emotional feeling towards a fact that doesn't make any difference in your life. That is the challenge, that when you are on your healing journey, yeah, you get to start responding instead of reacting. But when you get even farther down the road and certain things happen that actually have no relation to you, and you can just see it as a fact in reality, and you have no emotional attachment to you, shoot, I want to be that way. I mean, there's a few things in my life I've gotten to, but overall, I'm not there yet. But it would be great to be able to see facts as just a fact and not have an emotional opinion about it if it doesn't affect me. If it has no effect on me and my life, why should I have an emotional truth? Why should I have any opinion to it? I mean, shoot, if I get there, I'll let you know. I've met a couple people that are like that. And honestly, I'm in awe of them because when they know their truth, they know who they are, they have no reason to get upset over certain things because it means nothing to them. And they list it as a fact and they move on. Pretty awesome. And I love my conversations with those people because they challenge me to grow. They make things uncomfortable because they can list a fact and they can challenge something without having an ego, without having an emotional attachment, without needing me to validate their opinion or their truth. It's pretty fun because typically the only one at the table that is having an emotional fit is a person who's still reacting because they're still wounded. I saw a reel recently on two people walking into a bar, completely gorgeous. One is bothered by every scumbag, and the other one, not even approached. Very, very similar women. One was wounded and one was healed. Can you tell which one's which? And I thought that was really cool to look at reactive and responsive. Because a woman's going to react to the validation when one would respond to the attention and not care for it. Their attitudes are betrayed by their energy. Question for you. Which one are you? What's your truth? Are you reacting or are you responding? What's your truth? Are you healing or are you stuck? Are you in denial? Or are you looking at that mirror in all of its glory? Are you still viewing the world through your perspective? Or are you looking at the reality of what is? And are you able to handle opposition? Because if you can't handle opposition of someone else having a different truth than yours, you're most likely still reacting and wounded and unable to hear a different perspective. And that's okay. It's where you are. But don't fool yourself. Don't think you're in a different position. It's where you are, and that is okay. Just be honest with yourself because, again, self-honesty is a prerequisite to growth into healing. If you're going to sit here and say that you can handle something, you can hear someone else's truth, yet you can't have active listening. Active listening isn't something you know how to do because you're just waiting to rebuttal and argue whatever comes out of their mouth. How is that responding? Because I'm pretty sure that's reacting. The fun part is when you're able to handle someone else's truth as just challenging your growth, you can bridge a gap because you can hear something that you may have never experienced. And it's okay to have those conversations. Again, respect and love. Do it with respect and love, and you can learn so much hearing someone else's truth that is completely different than your own. But don't, let me remind you, don't ignore your truth. Do not betray yourself for someone else's comfort in those conversations. It's okay to speak your truth and again say, hey, I know we're going to disagree here. You don't need to understand this or agree with this, but I just need you to respect where I sit. I love your truth, but I'm going to keep my own. You don't need to prove yourself. You don't need your ego stroked. You don't need validation on your truth. Your truth is yours and their truth is theirs. And that is okay because truth doesn't need to be a battlefield. It should be a bridge of learning and seeing other perspectives, in seeing other cultures, other realities, and to be able to understand this world better. That's it. And it's okay to hold firmly on what you already believe in and what your truths are. But why not leave some room for being challenged so you can understand more? Your truth is a chapter in theirs is just another. Together, we can see an amazing story though. So I'm going to leave you with this. I challenge you to listen to other people's truths with respect and love. Just ask for the same while you speak yours and be challenged to grow. But first, be completely honest with yourself and then move forward. Again, thank you for unzipping with me. Don't forget to share, like, follow, subscribe, and also check me out at buildu.us to find ways to work with me. But we'll definitely see you on the next episode.